What was meant to be a unifying visit celebrating Nigerian culture and causes has instead devolved into violent unrest and shattered dreams for the Duchess of Sussex. Meghan Markle has become embroiled in a scandal of international proportions and ignited widespread protests after being caught brazenly manufacturing a fawning crowd of paid fans to shower her with coordinated adulation during the opening event on her solo tour across West Africa. The explosive controversy began just moments after Markle took the stage at a girls' education initiative in Lagos to deliver her first major speech promoting female empowerment across the region. As the 41-year-old began addressing the largely female audience assembled by event organizers, alleged supporters immediately erupted into a choreographed frenzy of raucous cheering, hollering, tears of joy and even swooning spells seemingly overcome by the Duchess' very presence. "Oh my God, it's our angel Meghan Markle, the most caring, beautiful, brave icon ever. We love you more than words, Queen. Preach those words of wisdom, girl, our heroic Duchess has arrived." As the dubious display of unstinting shrieking praise only escalated over the opening minutes of her speech, Meghan was seen basking in the pandemonium at first while flashing her signature megawatt smile. The former actress even audibly exhaled a self-satisfied "ah" into the microphone between fawning chants as if finally receiving the long-coveted adulation she's always craved on a global stage. However, what initially felt like an ego massage quickly morphed into utter chaos and then horror as the allegedly staged nature of Meghan's phony fan welcome sparked outrage and violent unrest, not just outside among riotous protesters but even amongst her core attendees within the venue. Within mere minutes, angry audience members began violently turning on their fellow fangirl conspirators in the spotlight, seemingly orchestrating the disruptive display. "Who do you think you are calling yourself educators but behaving like paid groupies? Be civilized," screamed one disgusted secondary school teacher in traditional Nigerian robes as she angrily slapped the hand of a still whooping woman in front of her. "Show some self-respect." That single assault then rapidly sparked an all-out melee spanning across the crowd as outraged local advocates realized en masse how flagrantly their earnest empowerment event was being hijacked as the backdrop for Meghan's own naked self-promotion and glory campaign. Soon dozens of initially elated-looking young local women found themselves under attack and being forcibly pummeled before the Duchess' very eyes and microphones. One shaky amateur video clip from inside the disintegrating event venue even captured the sickening visuals of a defenseless teenage girl in hijab being brutally kicked and stomped upon by a circle of furious adult women as the jarring sounds of Meghan's platitudes praising strength and dignity in the face of misogyny echoed hauntingly in the background. "You lie to us for Hollywood. We do not need foreign actresses teaching feminism. You abuse our dignity with these falsehoods and fake supporters. Leave Nigeria, you disgraceful snake. Take your imperialist circus elsewhere." As total anarchy exploded across the formerly celebratory proceedings, a wide-eyed, stunned Meghan is seen repeatedly ripping her now useless cable from the podium before frantically whirling around in search of security or event staff assistance. But the chaos only spiraled more out of control into utter Dantesque mayhem as every passing second allowed Nigeria's infuriated gender advocates to turn on the Duchess and her entourage in waves of furious retaliation. At one point a visibly terrified Meghan is captured fleeing backstage in high heels and cowering behind an overturned equipment trunk as raging swarms of local women closed in. Then just seconds later, a hurled projectile appears to strike her squarely in the face after a metallic clang rings out, immediately creating a grotesque trickle of blood pouring from the Duchess' nose onto her custom white short suit while a crazed circular melee rages just feet away. "Deplorable," shrieked the evidently shaken Markle after the projectile impact, weakly mopping claret from her visage with a trembling hand while keeping low to avoid any further strike. "What on earth have I walked into?" Scenes of total pandemonium continued unfolding throughout the international NGO venue over nearly 2 full hours as overwhelmed security officers struggled to safely evacuate the incident's only VIPs trapped inside amidst the ever-intensifying hostile siege. At one point during her rescue, Meghan's platinum blonde hair bundles and weave extensions were allegedly ripped out or lost during heavy shoving and jostling against the stampeding crowds as gunshots ricocheted across the compound's exterior. "It was straight out of The Purge out there," just total urban warfare mere minutes into what was meant to be a happy day celebrating worthy human rights causes for Nigeria's girls and women. Meghan's private safari guide Temilorun Adeniyi recounted during an urgent call to have the Duchess's entourage evacuated from their imperiled luxury resort once the siege finally lifted. "I've never been more terrified for our security trying to reach her inside that event as it all fell to pieces. Even as we finally pulled the princess into an armored convoy for extraction under hailstorms of rocks, our vehicles were still taking gunfire and Molotov cocktails from every compound alley. It was like driving out of Khartoum or some war zone at the peak of ethnic cleansing." Already, the fallout from Meghan's fake fan promotion stunt has prompted emergency response task forces and stern rebukes from Nigeria's federal government threatening crackdowns on any additional public disturbances or national dishonor. President Bola Tinubu has publicly condemned both the unknown provocateurs responsible for hijacking the Duchess's appearance as well the furious crowds turning it into violent riots across major cities, initiating probe committees and strengthened mobilization of military police nationwide to stave off potential civil conflicts. No matter how deeply Her Majesty's emissaries before us may blunder with misguided intentions, Nigeria maintains a zero-tolerance policy toward any mobs or vigilantes taking up arms and lawlessness against our sovereign guests, period, thundered Nigerian Defense Minister Bashir Salihi Magashi, looking visibly drained while facing reporters outside his Abuja compound as billowing columns of smoke rose just blocks away. "The full might of federal consequence shall rain down upon every last instigator and arsonist emboldened enough to besmirch the honor of the Nigerian state through their criminal transgressions this day." However, even as the government threatens mass arrests and crackdowns to stifle the growing furor over the manufactured fan chaos, protests calling for Meghan Markle's immediate expulsion from Nigerian soil have only spread like wildfire across the region's major population centers. In Kano, Sokoto, Ibadan and even Nigeria's formerly celebrated capital of Lagos, CNN cameras captured thousands marching with Meghan, person non grata, pickets while setting ablaze her promotional imagery and merchandise amid calls for any upcoming tour stops to be outright cancelled. The Duchess of Sussex, for her part, is reportedly directing her legal team to deliver a stern response to Nigerian authorities demanding a full criminal investigation into the alleged fan conspiracy against her instead, while threatening to halt all scheduled advocacy efforts indefinitely until the security situation stabilizes. To nearly lose life and dignity within minutes of trying to empower Nigeria's women was beyond traumatic and horrifying. However, the betrayal appears to have come from rogue imposters intentionally sabotaging my visit from within, Meghan wrote in a fiery statement to Nigerian contacts released through her spokesperson within hours of the outrage reaching a global audience. "At this point, we don't have adequate assurances that I or those selfless groups hosting me won't be set upon again by bad faith actors clearly threatened by a lone woman's voice having any platform or representation here. Until a full transparent investigation is conducted rooting out those criminalizing my royal humanitarian work for their own agendas, regrettably my genuine efforts for this nation's girls and empowerment causes will remain postponed indefinitely." However, many experienced royal analysts and observers feel Meghan Markle may have only recklessly poured more gasoline on an already explosive public relations inferno by seemingly doubling down, even as worldwide videos depict her team engineering an entirely staged fan event showcase. Some even speculated the Duchess, known for her hyperly